No one is above the law, not even the President of the United States.
President Joe Biden addressing the nation tonight to condemn the U.S. Supreme Court's ruling that former President Donald Trump is immune from prosecution for any official actions taken while in office, including on January 6th. President Biden calling the ruling a dangerous precedent while expressing concerns for a second Trump term without any legal limitations except for those imposed by the president himself.
I concur with Justice Sotomayor's dissent today. Here's what she said. She said, in every use of official power, the president is now a king above the law. With fear for our democracy, I dissent. And so should the American people dissent. I dissent.
Tonight, Trump's attorneys are asking a judge in New York to throw out the verdict in his hush money trial.
The Supreme Court's decision is sparking a strong response across the country. Political reporter Paris Schutz has local reaction.
The 6-3 ruling says Trump and future presidents are indeed immune from criminal prosecution for any actions taken in their official duties. Unofficial actions, not so much. Trump hails today's decision as a, quote, big win for our Constitution and democracy. But what it means for his January 6th prosecutions is unclear. The ruling opinion says immunity is needed to, quote, safeguard the independence and effective functioning of the executive branch and to enable the president to carry out his constitutional duties without undue caution. But that immunity does not extend to conduct outside the scope of the job.
The president goes out to dinner and gets in a fist fight. And yes, he can be charged with assault and battery because that's not in his official capacity. Clearly, that's what the court ruled.
The question, were his alleged attempts to overturn the results of a free and fair election within the scope of his official duties? The court says the lower courts will have to figure that out. Carolyn Shapiro, head of the Institute for the Study of the Supreme Court at IIT Kent College of Law and a former Supreme Court law clerk, says the decision is, quote, shocking.
One of the many things about this opinion that I find shocking is that they cannot bring themselves to say that anything that happened in the lead up to or on January 6th was an unofficial act. Surely, trying to overthrow an election to stay in power cannot be an official act.
In a blistering dissent, Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor predicted a president could now get away with staging a coup or assassinating a political rival. Quote, the relationship between the president and the people has shifted irrevocably, Sotomayor writes. In every use of official power, the president is now a king above the law. And the local reaction has been fast and furious as well. Illinois Senator and Senate Judiciary Chair Dick Durbin says, quote, today's ultra-conservative Supreme Court majority ruled that not just Donald Trump, but future presidents may be immune from abusing the levers of government to overturn an election or engage in other misconduct. Meanwhile, Governor Pritzker says January 6th, quote, was the act of a despotic narcissist attempting to overthrow our democracy to cling to power. And he needs to answer for his actions. The ruling also says a president is presumed immune in certain official actions unless proven otherwise. Chicago attorney Joseph Morris, who served as an assistant U.S. attorney under President Reagan, applauds the decision and says there are other checks and balances on a president.
If you disagree with his constitutional acts, vote against him or vote against his party, or vote in Congress to change the laws or ultimately amend the Constitution. But to be harassing presidents ad infinitum through the courts, either in criminal or civil proceedings, is not healthy for the country.
Legal experts believe the ruling will not affect the Mar-a-Lago documents case. The January 6th case is much less clear. Paris Schutz, Fox 32, Chicago.